Okay, so good evening, everyone, and thank you again for my 76th webinar. I mean, Priya was the fourth in 2020. We'll have a photo of that one as well. So we'll show you this quickly. So thank you very much indeed. The talk today is on elevate your relationship. Really, really important, especially as we going through some severe COVID-19 period, as well as the festive season coming up as well. So Priya Deelchand, founder and managing director of Success Strategies Consultant Limited, corporate trainer, business and life coach, and I will also add storyteller. So Priya, thank you for giving back your time, your effort as well to share knowledge and wisdom with all of us today. So this is Priya on leading with emotional intelligence. That was when we were very, very young. And that was on the 27th of April, 2020. And Priya was our fourth webinar. Can't believe this is where we are today. I think the only difference there is that the wardrobe is the same color. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Priya, for that one. Quick agenda, guys. We've got introduction, survey. There'll be a few exercises as well. Make sure you have a pen and a sheet of paper handy. There'll be a small exercise during the webinar. So the agenda today is talking about communicate better, control your ego, spend quality time together and every day, as well as talking about kindness, compassion, acceptance, importance of laughter and fun and Q&A. So 168 of you registered for this session today. Thank you very much indeed. Of course, it's going to be an hour plus CPD. Please email me your feedback just after the webinar, as well as your name for your certificate attendance. And thank you, Priya, for giving back. Thanks, Eminem, on behalf of all of us today. So I am, I think if some of you don't know me, I love construction, love learning, love sharing, love people, passionate about giving back, and almost 19.5 years of experience in the construction industry. Honored, privileged, and humbled to have all of you. So we'll just go to menti.com quickly, guys. If you go to menti.com and press 8965, 4106, just to set the tone for Priya to get started on that one. So I'm just going to share with you. So menti.com, 8965 4106, and I'm going to share the screen with you now. So here we go, and you will see that there. Okay, so you'll see the screen now. If you can just maybe wherever you're watching us today, most of you are from Mauritius, but any other countries, and your name quickly. And then the next question is vitally important as well. So please, for a few seconds, if you can just try to get you going with menti.com. And the passcode is 8965 4165. So already you can see Avinash, Ridima, Prakash, Iklas, Dina. Fantastic to see you all. Okay, thank you very much indeed, everyone. So we'll just give you a few more seconds to put your name in, and also we'll move on to the next question as well. So fantastic to see you there. Diraj, thank you, guys. So that it's menti.com, 8965 4106, and we'll move on to the next one. We've got Anupriya, great to see you as well. So the next one, you'll see the question as we move on is, of course, just making sure I've got that there. Right, so thank you, great to see you all there. And we'll just say, so what is your understanding of elevating your relationship? So a few words on there, please. What is your understanding? Could be anything. So please, if you can just put any comment there, what is your understanding of elevating your relationship? Yeah, a few words there as well before we start. Okay, so compassion, empathy. Priya, does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so stakeholders management. Wow, this is, yeah, that's on the business side of things. Symbiotic and win-win. Excellent. Improvement, human. Yeah, so it's all good. The compassion being right in the middle there. Being the popular one from you guys. Listening first, very important. I'm sure Priya will touch on that as well. Listening skill, covenant, better communication, empathy. So yeah, please keep them coming in. Happiness, very important, which is one of the key element of the agenda today as well. So thank you very much indeed for that one. All right, so we'll just move on to, thank you very much indeed for that one. This is kind of set sharing knowledge, I can see as well, and building relationship, a few things on green as well. All right, thank you very much indeed. We'll just go back to the slide quickly before we introduce Priya. So I want to just share a video before I formally introduce Priya to you. And I'm just going to make sure I've got that video here. It's quite a powerful one, and hope you like it. So off we go. Let me just share the screen as well. If you can hear the sound and the images, please give me a hands up. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to share the screen now. All right, again, if you can hear the sound and images, give me a shout. It's 3 minutes, and it's from they made a movie on the girl, and it's Sky is Pink. I don't know if you heard of that one, Priya. Sky is Pink. I think it is a kind of Bollywood movie, and they made a movie on this particular girl. Off we go.
Okay.
Okay, let me just make sure I've got the sound as well shared with all of you before we kick off. There we go.
My story is different from most because I had to undergo a bone marrow transplant when I was just 6 months old. And now I have pulmonary fibrosis and my lung capacity is now only 20%. My name is Aisha Chowdhury and I'm 17 years old. And today I'd like to talk about what really matters most to me in life. Now life can be tough when every single breath you take is a struggle and the slightest infection causes a serious, life-threatening exacerbation. And the last one for me was in November last year, when I went from being able to walk around freely and go to school to suddenly being bedridden, unable to turn over in bed without getting out of breath. And I must confess that I did wonder if I was going to die. And I would have sleepless nights. Now it's not that by being miserable, I'm going to get any better. So I may as well choose to be happy. And if I have to have pulmonary fibrosis, I choose to have a happy pulmonary fibrosis. Now all of this doesn't mean that life is always one big song and dance. It really isn't. Of course, there are days when I feel extremely down, where I feel like simply curling up into a ball and just giving up. But then the realization that things could always be much, much worse always pushes me to get back up on my feet and put a smile on my face. I could have easily been born into a family that wasn't as loving and caring as my own. So I thank God for the family that I have. And I know for a fact that there are children out there who are much less fortunate than I am. And although I have this disease, I'm still grateful that I can walk around and do what I love to do. And I'm even more determined to make the most of this wonderful gift of life that God has given me. As Anderson once said, enjoy life. There's plenty of time to be dead.
Okay, so thank you very much indeed for that. And we're just going to swap screen quickly. You'll see my screen again there. And also, and that's, she's passed away, unfortunately. And she talked about there's plenty of time to be dead. And if you want to see the movie as well, I think it's the Sky is Pink. And the movie was made around her as well. So we're just going to present Priya quickly before we go to Priya. So Priya, take it over, and then we'll obviously get back to you as we start. Thank you, Priya.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my name is Priya Deelchand,
Let's show your screen as well. Yeah.
and I am the founder of Success Strategies Consultants. And our company specializes in corporate training in the field of emotional intelligence, leadership, and so on. And nowadays, given that we are in period of COVID, we do most of our workshops online, both for people in Mauritius as well as for people abroad. Okay, so I think it's okay, Anil?
Yeah, you can share your screen, not a problem.
Okay. Before sharing the screen, I would like to talk about having good relationships. Okay? Today, the theme is how to improve your relationships, how to elevate your relationships. When we talk about relationships, relationships can be personal relationships as well as professional relationships. And we can see that in order to improve our relationships, both personal and professional, the most important thing is to communicate well. You will see that most problems in relationships arise because people do not take time to communicate well. But what does communicating well mean? For most people, communicating well means that when someone comes to me, I can express myself clearly and make that person understand what I want to convey as information. But this is not communicating well. In order to communicate well, the most important thing is to understand the person with whom you are communicating. When you understand the way the person is, what will happen? You will know how to communicate with that person so that you could respond to his requirements. Okay? And most of the time we don't do this. Today we live in a very busy world where we don't have time. And what we want to get everything rapidly from everyone. That's why we spend most of our time conveying information, asking people what we want, even without knowing what they understand. Okay, so communicating well means, first of all, learning to listen, learning to understand the other person. When you know how the person operates, how the person functions, the personality of that individual in front of you, it is only then that you can communicate well with a person by not using your style of communication, but by using his style of communication so that the message can be transmitted to that person in the best possible way. Okay?
Yeah.
But what does that mean? What does that mean, knowing the style of a person in order to communicate with him better? You will see that we use 3 sensors most of the time, all throughout the day, in order to record information. Do you know what are the 3 sensors that we use?
Sure. That's a tricky one.
That's a very tricky one, indeed.
Yeah.
You will see that most of us, all of us, in fact, we use 3 sensors. What are the 3 sensors? The first one is visual, okay? When we see things around us, we record information. Like, for example, when we read a book, we are recording the information by our visual style, okay? When we look at someone, we are recording information about the person, about his appearance by the visual style. The second sense that we use is called the auditory style, the auditory sense. What is the auditory sense? It is when we are listening to someone. Someone is talking to us, we are recording the information by listening to what he's saying. Okay, we can also listen to things on the radio. When we listen to things, we are recording information by our auditory sense. And the third sense that we use is called kinesthetic sense. Wow. What is kinesthetic sense? Kinesthetic sense is we record information based on what we feel. Human beings are creatures of feelings. We emit feelings all throughout the day. When people talk, they talk with emotions. Sometimes when someone is angry, we can very well know that he's angry without him telling us, only by looking at or by sensing his feelings. People who are kinesthetic feel how someone is by the feeling they get. Okay? And people who are kinesthetic also record information by doing things. For example, let's say we want to learn how to use a new software. When we have this software, in order to learn how to use, many people can practice, put into practice. And when they put into practice, they learn how to use the software. They are using the kinesthetic style to record the information. Okay? All of us, we use these three styles: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. But what happens? We don't have these three styles equally. It is not equal. It doesn't mean that our styles are equal in all these three. Okay? And sometimes, not knowing what is the style which dominates in us, we tend to communicate to people only by using our style unconsciously, which may not be the style of communication of the person with whom we are talking. Okay, so it is very important for us to know what is our style of communication and what is the style of communication of the person in front of us, so that we can adapt our style with his style in order to transfer the information in the best possible way. But before I tell you what your style is, which is very difficult for you to know right now, but you can guess, you can guess what your style, what your dominant style is. If I ask you, do you know whether you are visual, auditory, or kinesthetic? Anil, maybe you can do the poll so that people participate.
Yeah, let's do the poll quickly. I've got the poll, but I also, before I launch the poll, Priya, I like that you said about kinesthetic, that human beings, or we, are creatures of feeling. I mean, that's a strong word, right? Creatures of feelings. And I love that word. So obviously, anything you would like to put a statement or a question, just put them onto the Q&A tab and we'll take it from there. But let's have a quick survey quickly. And I'll launch that one and I'll make sure Priya can see it. I think I wanted to share this one, is how many of you want to elevate your relationship? I'm sure you're here to elevate it, but I'm sure it'd be great to see how many of you want to elevate your relationship at the back of this. I think already I can see entertaining webinar for the next 1 hour and 10 minutes left on that one. So thank you very much indeed. I end the poll. I mean, what would be the statistic, Priya, regarding that survey? How many people do you think will say in terms of percentage?
I'm sure all people would like to improve their relationships.
All right, so here we go. We've got the answer already. 100% of you are here to elevate your relationship. Thank you very much indeed. And we'll move on to the next one. And this is a good one after the explanation of Priya. Do you think you are auditory? Do you think you're visual? Or do you think you're kinesthetic, right? Kinesthetic. So please put your vote in. I mean, generally, Priya, why people are voting, what's your thought on that one? I mean, is there a certain type people go for, or is it just different because of different background and, like you said, creatures of feelings?
I will explain to you in details about when we get results, but I'm sure most people would be visual.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at the poll, and I'm going to share the poll with you now. And here the poll, and you'll see the results. So auditory, 11%. We've got visual, 42%, but kinesthetic, 47%. Is that something you're expecting, Priya?
I will tell you the results. I will tell you the result, the general result for people in the world. on a worldwide basis, you will see that most people are visual. Okay,
Wow.
maybe in your group, you are engineers and you're in this field. It can explain the result because you are most of the time on the field doing work with people. That's why maybe people with your type, your profile, have a kinesthetic sense which dominate. Okay, but in general, you will see in the world, 60% of the world population is visual.
Wow. And
Okay.
just a quick one, Priya, there's a question from Ridima. Can someone be more than just one? So can someone be all three or all two?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. In fact, it's very rare. It's very, very rare, but someone can be all three. It's very, very rare. And someone can have two styles dominating. It is also possible. Okay. But most of the time, you will see that most people have one of the styles which dominate. Okay. And in the world, 60% of the world population, they are visual. 35% are kinesthetic. And only 5% are auditory.
Wow.
Only 5%. But why do we have communication problems most of the time? It is because you will see, and I'm sure you can all, you all do this way. You will see that most of the time when we communicate with people, we communicate only verbally.
Yeah.
And when we communicate verbally, what happens? Given that most people are not auditory, what happens? They retain only 50% maximum of the information that you're transmitting. That's why there are many problems in relationships, misunderstanding. Because we are not using the right communication style to inform people what we are expecting about them. You see, when we know how people operate, what is the style which dominates with this or that person, we can use his style to transfer the information according to his style to make him understand in order to avoid misunderstanding, miscommunication, misunderstanding, and so on. And you will see that most of the time, relationship problems occur because we are not understood by others and people don't understand us.
Okay.
Okay. And if we know the style which dominates for us, we can see how we are communicating. And we can adjust our communication style with others in order to improve our relationships. When we improve our relationships with everybody, it is automatic that we will be elevating our relationships.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win situation, right?
Yeah, it's a win-win situation, definitely. You see, you will avoid enormous problems. And what will happen at the workplace, when you communicate well, you reduce the risk of errors and you become more productive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, people won't have to do the work 3 times, 4 times, 6 times, because once you communicate with someone according to his style of communication, right from the beginning, he will retain more than 90% of what you are communicating. Let me explain that to you. If someone is visual, only by using the visual support, what do I mean by visual support? Let's say I am a person who is visual. I go to a meeting. What I need to do when I go to that meeting, I need to always carry a notebook and note maximum things possible. Because being visual, only by writing these things, I will, right from the first time, retain more than 90% of the information. It means that this will allow me to reduce the risk of errors right from the beginning. But if I am visual and I go to a meeting and I don't take note of what is being said, what will happen? I will lose more than 50% of what has been said. This is why my productivity will diminish.
And Priya, many a time as well, a lot of people go into meetings without taking any notebooks or maybe something like an iPad to type notes. They just sit there thinking someone will send the minutes of meeting afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, because when we wait for people to send minutes of meeting, in the meantime, what happens? We have forgotten what has been said. But if we are visual and we take note, what will happen? Just after the meeting, we will continue to remember, and this will allow us to become more productive.
Absolutely.
You see? And let's say I am auditory. I go to a meeting. If I go to a meeting and I start noting down things, what will happen? If I am auditory and I note down things, what will happen? I will lose more than 50% of the information. Auditory people need to listen. By listening to things, they will retain more than 90% of the information. So when they go to the meeting, what they can do, they can note only things like phone numbers, name of a person, name of a company, email address, and so on. But don't spend your time noting from A to Z. You will lose more than 50% of the information and you won't be able to become productive. People who are kinesthetic, when they go to meetings, they must, you know what happens? People who are kinesthetic, they like the feeling, touch, feel. When they go to meetings, what they need to do is write things, but not write as the person who is visual. Why do they need to write? Because they need to touch things. When they touch the pen and write down things, even if they are drawing certain diagrams, kinesthetic people like to draw diagrams. You see, because the movement of your hand is important. And there is a connection between the movement of your hand and what you are registering in your mind, what you're recording in your mind. So people who are kinesthetic, when they go to meetings, they can write things only for the movement of their hands. Okay, by doing so, by writing things, by writing small things and by making diagrams, drawing diagrams, they will be able to register more than 90% of the information.
Wow.
Okay.
But even Priya, as well, in terms of kinesthetic, people come in a meeting and they like to shake hands as well.
Yeah.
Because it's all about obviously being touchy. But also, I recently had because we were obviously giving feast now because of COVID, and I gave a feast to a guy yesterday, but he was doing like that to me. So I was a bit like scared. I mean, the feast was supposed to do a touch, but not to do a bit of a caressing, if you like. Yeah. But that's part of kinesthetic, right?
Yeah, definitely touching things, hugging, handshakes, and so on are for people who are kinesthetic. But later on, after doing the test, I will show you how to recognize, how to know if someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, because this is very important for your professional relationship as well as your personal relationships.
Absolutely.
So that you can improve your relationships. Okay?
All right. Of course.
Do you have...
Yeah, go for it, Priya.
Do you have questions?
Nothing yet for now. I think because everybody has been captivatingly listening to you. But of course, if there's a question, please put on the Q&A as we get started. So please, if there's any question as well, please put them in as we go through. All right, Priya.
So if you don't have questions, what we will do the test so that you can know whether you are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic or kinesthetic. And
Absolutely.
You will know what comes in first position, second position, and third position. But because sometimes between the first and second, the score is very, very small. Very little difference between the two. Okay? And it is important for you to know this so that you can combine and use the styles in order for you to know, to retain maximum information for you to outperform, but also for you to improve your relationships, be it for your professional relationships or your personal relationships.
And just to let you know as well, just before we get people to rethink about it, when we issued the survey, 11% said auditory, 42% says visual, and then 47 say kinesthetic. So once you've explained all of that to us, maybe we'll be probably thinking of changing that percentage.
Maybe, yeah, because most of the time what happens, given that we never did such a test before, we used to think that we are like this. I myself, I thought I was visual, but when I did the test, what I saw, I was auditory.
Wow.
You see, sometimes when we do the test, it is only then that we can know, yes, I was wrong.
So
But sometimes we can be wrong.
There's a question for you. How do I know which one I am? What are the signs to look for? I mean, is there tips and hints maybe you'll talk about later?
Yeah, I will give you all the tips and hints. Okay, but right now we will do the test. If you have a sheet of paper, please take the sheet of paper. You will have 30 questions, very small, very simple questions, okay? And you will have to answer A, B, or C. Be very sincere with yourself, okay? Don't just put A, B, or C just like that to reply, okay? Be very honest, because the more honest you are, the better the results will be.
Absolutely.
Okay, and this will allow us to know whether you're really visual, kinesthetic, or auditory.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Please, yeah. I will share the screen.
Yeah, just to let everybody as well, if the Q&A is open, I've got a text from Amit saying to me that the Q&A has no access. Just recheck whether you're on your phone or your laptop, but the Q&A should be there. So please, yeah, if you can have a look. So Priya, thank you. And I think if you go to your number 1 slide, this is 12. Yeah, if you go back, fantastic. Here we go. Thank you, Priya.
Okay, with pleasure. So I will go through the questions. First, when I operate a new equipment, I generally, A, read the instructions first. B, listen to an explanation from someone who has used it before. C, go ahead and have a go. I can figure it out as I use it. Choose the answer which suits you best.
I can see to you, I'm C.
Okay.
I like just to get on to it. I'm so impatient.
Okay. Number 2, when I need directions for traveling, I usually A, look at a map or Google Map. B, ask for spoken directions. Or C, follow my nose.
Priya, do you want me to share the survey in the meantime, or for now, do you want me to share the poll?
No, not yet. Let's go through all the questions. When we end, then you can share the poll. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you. So guys, make sure you do a screenshot and just answer the question on the sheet of paper, right, Priya?
Yeah. Because we will need to know which is your style.
Okay.
If you don't answer the questions, you won't know. Okay. Number 3, when I cook a new dish, I like to A, follow a written recipe. B, call a friend for an explanation. Or C, follow my instincts, testing as I cook. Maybe if it is not clear for you, we will have 30 questions, okay? 30 questions. For all questions, you can answer A, B, or C, but don't answer A and B, B and C. No, only one answer per question. Okay?
Okay.
Clear for all of you?
Yeah, loving it. So guys, if you have any question, if you're enjoying it, what if I choose both equally? Can people choose 1 or 2 or just one question?
Only one, okay? Sometimes you will see all 3 answers, or you do all 3. But when you have this, you need to choose which is the priority, what I would do first.
Awesome. Okay? Thank you, Priya.
With pleasure. Number 4, if I am teaching someone something new, I tend to A, write instructions down for them. B, give them a verbal explanation. Or C, demonstrate first and then let them have a go.
Wow. These are really interesting questions, you know. I've never come through that, so fantastic.
Okay. Number 5, I tend to say A, watch how I do it. B, listen to me explain, or C, you have a go.
Wow. Thank you
6.
again. Yeah.
Pleasure, with great pleasure. 6. During my free time, I most enjoy A, going to the cinema or travel to watch the landscape. B, listening to music or talking to my friends. Or C, doing sport or do-it-yourself activities. Bricolage. Seven, when I go shopping for clothes, I tend to A, imagine what they would look like on. B, discuss them with a shop staff or with a friend. Or C, try them on and test them out. Eight, when I am choosing a holiday, I usually A, read lots of brochures. B, listen to recommendations from friends. Or C, imagine what it would be like to be there.
Awesome.
9, if I had to buy a new car, I would A, read reviews in newspapers and magazines. B, discuss what I need with my friends. Or C, test drive lots of different types. 10, when I am learning a new skill, I am most comfortable A, watching what the teacher is doing. B, talking through with a teacher exactly what I'm supposed to do. Or C, giving it a try myself and work it out as I go. 11, if I am choosing food off a menu, I tend to A, imagine what the food will look like. B, talk through the options in my head or with a partner. Or C, imagine what the food will taste like. 12, when I listen to a band, I can't help A, watching what the band members and other people in the audience, sorry. B, listening to the lyrics and the beats. Or C, moving with the music. 13, when I concentrate, I most often A, focus on the words or the pictures in front of me. B, discuss the problem and the possible solutions in my head. Or C, move around a lot, fiddle with pens and pencils and touch things. 14, I choose household furnishings because I like A, their colors and how they look. B, the descriptions the salespeople give me. Or C, the textures and what it feels like to touch them. 15, my first memory is of A, looking at something. B, being spoken to. Or C, doing something.
Priya, just quick one. There's one participant who's missed question 12 and 13. Would you mind just go back on that, please?
Okay, sure.
12 and 13, yeah?
Okay.
So here we go for Shafiq. When I listen to a band, I can't help watching the band members and other people in the audience. A. B, listening to the lyrics and the beats. And then C, moving with the music. So that's 12 for you. And then if you can move to the next slide. When I concentrate, I most often focus on the words or the pictures in front of me, discuss the problem and the possible solution in my head. Or C, move around a lot, fiddle with pen and pencil and touch things, which I often do. All right, Priya. So if we can just go back to 14, I choose household. 15 is, go for it.
Okay. My first memory is of A, looking at something. B, being spoken to. Or C, doing something.
Just hold on to that one. This is a tricky one. My first memory is of.
Okay, maybe I can give you. Okay, maybe I can give you an example. Okay,
Yeah.
so that it could be clearer for all.
Yes,
of you.
yes, yes.
Let's say you go to a meeting for the first time. Okay, and you come back to your office. What is the first memory which comes to your mind about this meeting? Okay, A, was it something that you were looking at? Maybe the people around. Or B, maybe being spoken to by someone at the meeting. Or C, what were you doing at the meeting?
Yeah. This is a
Okay.
good one because I think A and B will always relate to me. You can always look at something and remind yourself that you saw something. But B, if someone has sworn at you, definitely you remember that one, especially the swearing in Creole. You can't miss that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Before you move to the next question, Priya, there's a question on the Q&A tab. Can you share the questions after the lecture for personal use? I mean, I think it's just the answers, I believe, what you want.
It's only the answers that you will get.
It's copyright Priya Deelchand.
Okay, and then what I will do, I will show you how you can recognize whether someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic.
Fantastic.
Without doing the test. Okay, without doing the test, but you will have to practice a little. Okay?
Okay.
Number 16, with pleasure. When I am anxious, I A, visualize the worst case scenarios, B, talk over in my head what worries me most, or C, can't sit still, fiddle and move around constantly.
Wow.
17, I feel especially connected to other people because of A, how they look, B, what they say to me, or C, how they make me feel. 18, when I have to revise for an exam, I generally A, write lots of revision notes and diagrams, B, talk over my notes alone or with other people, réciter, C, imagine making the movement or creating the formula.
It brings back a lot of memories, which I don't want to think of again.
I think it's the same for all of us, right?
Oh, dreading the exams. Tell me about it.
19. If I am explaining to someone, I tend to A, show them what I mean, B, explain to them in different ways until they understand, or C, encourage them to try and talk them through my idea as they do it.
Wow. You're definitely making us think outside the box with those questions, Priya.
Great. This is what we need, especially in these types of periods, because with COVID, our life will no longer be back to normal. And if we want to thrive, I am not talking about surviving. If we want to thrive in life, we will absolutely need to think outside the box.
Absolutely. And of course,
Okay.
Please put some comments in the Q&A if you're enjoying it. If it's making you think outside the box, definitely put some comments in and anything. Priya, all yours.
Thank you. 20. I really love A, watching films, photography, looking at paintings, B, listening to music, the radio, or talking to friends, or C, taking part in sporting activities, eating fine foods, or dancing. 21. Most of my free time is spent A, watching television, B, talking to friends, or C, doing physical activity or making things.
Yeah.
22. When I first contact a new person, I usually A, arrange a face-to-face meeting, B, talk to them on the telephone, or C, try to get together whilst doing something else, such as an activity or a meal.
And nowadays, I guess we do Zoom meeting maybe to have a face-to-face, as long as we can see each other, I guess.
Yeah. 23. I first notice how people A. Look and dress, B. Sound and speak, or C. Sound, stand and move. 24. If I am angry, I tend to A. Keep replaying in my mind what it is that has upset me. B. Raise my voice and tell people how I feel. Or C. Step about, slam doors, and physically demonstrate my anger. 25. I find it easiest to remember A. Faces, B. Names, or C. Things I have done.
Wow, this is a tricky one, eh? Yeah.
26. I think that you can tell if someone is lying if A. They avoid looking at you, B. Their voices change, or C. They give you funny vibes.
I think A normally rings a bell.
Okay. 27. When I meet an old friend, A. I say, it's great to see you, B. I say, it's great to hear from you, or C. I give them a hug or a handshake. 28. I remember things best by A. Writing notes or keeping printed details. B. Saying them aloud or repeating words and key points in my head.
Yeah.
Or C. Yeah. Which one?
And I think you said doing and practicing the activity or imagine it being done. I think for me personally, it's A, always writing notes and keep like printed pads and things, saying them aloud, never done that before, and doing and practicing, yeah, that's part of it as well. So these are the questions are fine lines, I take it. It really put you thinking really.
Yeah. 29. If I have to complain about faulty goods, I am most comfortable. A. Writing a letter or sending an email. B. Complaining over the phone. Or C. Taking the item back to the store.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. In Mauritius, they don't take the call and they won't read the emails, so we'll probably take them back to the store. It's quicker.
Okay. But what would you prefer?
That's a good one.
Okay, you need to put the answer that you would prefer. Okay.
Yeah.
Because this shows what is the style which dominates for you.
Yeah.
30. I tend to say A. I see what you mean. B. I hear what you're saying. Or C. I know how you feel.
Sure. Thank you for that.
Pleasure. Now, if you have, you can add how many A's, how many B's, how many C's you have got.
Sure. So we'll do that now, yeah, Priya?
Yeah, sir.
So we'll
Yeah.
do, so yeah, perfect.
Take your time.
Yeah, so we'll give you 5 minutes, guys. Take your time. No rush.
Count well.
Yeah.
Count well.
Okay, so we're almost there, and yeah, it's a good one actually. All right, so if you finish, can you put your hands up, please, on your little emoji, just to say you finished. It's quite strong one. Once you get the first one, second one, the rest is just whatever's left out of the 30 questions.
So, Anil, maybe you can put the poll so that we can know the results. You will only A, B, or C. Which one you got? In which one your score is highest? A, B, or C.
Yeah, perfect. So, right. So let's see how many of you've got more A's or more B's or more C's. Or
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah, it'd be great to have that. Take your time, no rush on that one. And it's amazing how time is flying as well. So, but Priya, can I just say thank you for this? I didn't expect that at all. So thank you very much. I think it does make you think and ponder. So I think most of us have voted. Just a few more are putting their vote in, and I'm going to just share the poll with you now. Sharing the poll, and here we go. So we've got 52% A, 17% B, and C, we've got 31%. Wow.
So you see, bingo, bingo.
Is it bingo, do you think?
Bingo? Yeah, because A means you are visual, and most people are visual. What did I tell you at the beginning?
Yeah, yeah.
You see, 60% of the world population, they are visual. So A means you are visual, B means you are auditory, and C means you are kinesthetic.
Right. But this is the audience. But on my side, Priya, I've got more C's followed by A and then B. So C-A-B.
Yeah. C means kinesthetic, A means visual, and B means auditory. So for you, you are kinesthetic followed by visual, and last is auditory. So
is that okay?
Yeah, all styles are okay. There is no style which is better than any other. Okay, what is important is that you know which styles, which is your dominant style, so that you could know how to register information, retain information, gather information, for you to become more productive and for you to be able to understand what people expect from you, be it in your professional life or in your personal life. Okay, when you know your style, you can be more careful, more attentive, pay more attention to what people are saying, or pay more attention to what you are seeing in order to respond to their needs in a better way.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
But Priya, what you said overall, that generally in the world, what you've seen there in terms of percentage in the survey that we're showing on the screen, is what's happening generally in terms of statistic in the world. So A takes over, take precedence, followed by
kinesthetic. First position always in the world. First position A, visual. Second position C, kinesthetic. And last, auditory.
Wow.
You see? Right. And this shows what is happening. The results we are seeing here. It confirms what happens in the world.
Perfect.
Okay?
All right.
So now, with pleasure. So now, the big question. Now that you know what your dominant style is, it is not enough for you to have good relationships because it is only one side of a story. You need to know how other people are so that you can adapt your style with theirs in order to transfer information in the best possible way so that both parties would understand. And this will allow you to reduce misunderstandings. Okay, be it in couples, be it with your kids, be it with your colleagues, with whoever. Now, if you don't do the test, how will you know if someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic?
Right.
Without doing this test.
Whoa.
Okay? How will you know that? you will see that, okay, people who are visual.
So Priya, just quick one before we go to the next stage. There are some comments in. Is that okay for me to read that comments to you?
Yeah, sure.
So we've got a comment from Stephanie. I thought I was visual, but the test had confirmed a different result. So already we can see the effect. Thank you, Stephanie. There's Diraj who says 9A, 9C, and 12. So Diraj is saying he's got 9 A's, 9 C's, and 12 B's. How do I classify myself, please?
If he has 12 B's, it means that B is dominant. Okay, so he is auditory.
Here we go. Thank you very much indeed. And then we've got Mutru Botham. I think what he's saying is that practically everyone is one way at some time. Same person is another way in another occasion. So, all right, that's a comment. Ridima, does that mean that kinesthetic people can read emotion of others, i.e. being more intuitive?
No.
Okay.
No. All freestyles can be intuitive, okay? It doesn't mean that kinesthetic are more intuitive than others, no.
But she also goes on to say that, does that mean kinesthetic people can read emotions better than the other one?
No, all people can read emotions, okay? For example, if someone wants to read emotion, let's say the person is visual. The person will use his visual style to read emotions by looking at the person, looking at his facial expressions, his body language. By seeing the person will know what is the emotion of the person in front of him. If the person is auditory, the person can know emotions by listening to the person, because when we talk in our voice, we can know whether the person is angry, whether the person is happy. You see?
Absolutely.
So all styles can do everything, but when you know what is your dominant style, you can use this dominant style in order to gather more information.
Fantastic. There's another one there from an anonymous attendee. Being a visual person, how can I improve my auditory sense?
Okay, I will tell you something. There's no need for you to try to improve something. If you want to improve something, okay, you can start paying more attention to what people are saying. But if your dominant style is visual, what you do is, wherever you go, pay more attention to what you're seeing. Okay? By paying attention to what you're saying, you will retain more than 90% of the information around you. You don't need to copy the style of anyone. You see? You just need to know what you are and use that to the max, because this is your strength. This is where your strength lies.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think there's one more, just coming in. I've got more C's followed by B and last A. How do I define myself with it? And so I'm just going to read that quickly. Kim Raj goes on to say, I got more C followed by B and last A. How do I define myself with it? And how to adapt myself to the situation?
Okay, so if he has got more C's, it means he's kinesthetic. Okay, being kinesthetic, it means that he will be able to retain more information by what he feels. Okay, what he feels around. But one thing we should be very clear, which is that when you have a dominant style, you need to use that dominant style to gather maximum information so that you can be more performant. This does not mean that you will leave aside the other styles. Why? Because let's say you are visual and you are listening to a song. There's nothing visual on that.
Yeah.
You see, by listening to the song, you're using part of other styles which are not dominant, but which are also important for you to know what is being said in the song. You see what I mean? But maybe if you want to know better what was being said in the song, when you go back home, you open on Google, you go on Google, you go and watch what has been written in the lyrics. This will make you register the words that are being said in the song better. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Priya.
Great pleasure. So what I will do now, I will explain to you how you can read the style of people without doing this test. I will stop sharing the slide. Okay. You will see, in order to communicate better, it is important for you to know what is the style of communication of the person with whom you're speaking. And how do you do that? There are different ways of knowing if someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. The first way to know if someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic is to observe the person. Let's say you are in a meeting and you want to know who is what. You just observe around you what these people are doing. If you see someone taking notes, keep on taking notes, and his notebook is filled with information, it means that the person is visual. Okay? If you see someone who is not writing anything but is listening attentively and is asking lots of questions, this means that the person has a tendency to be auditory. Okay, now, if you are at the meeting, you see someone with a notebook, the person is writing, but not very much, but the person is keeps on moving the pen, touching the table, moving around, making movements with his hands when he speaks. It means that the person is more kinesthetic.
Wow.
Okay. Now, another way to recognize whether someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic is by listening to the person. You know why? Because when we listen to someone, we can know what is the style the person is using to think. When someone is visual, the person will use words like, you see, I see what you mean. I saw that on TV. I read that in the book. You see, the person will give you hints that for him, seeing things is important. It means that he has more tendency to be visual. Or the person will tell you, could you please send me an email with the document?
Yeah.
I want to see the document. Okay? If someone is auditory, the person will use words like, I heard that somewhere. That person told me about that. While listening to, I heard that. You see, he will use words showing that in order to retain information, he was listening to something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and if someone is kinesthetic, he will use more words like feelings. You know, like words like, today I am very happy. Today I feel very sad. Today I am very angry. When the person uses words like these, you will know that the person has a tendency to be kinesthetic because he is expressing feelings. Okay. Now, what you need to do is you need to observe people around you because you will not be able to read people right first time. You can practice on your family members or colleagues or your colleagues you know for a long time. It will be easier for you to know whether the person is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic.
And Priya, just a quick one. I've got a question here from Lakshmi. And Lakshmi goes on to say, it seems quite difficult to denote the character style. Personally, I'm all free during meeting or sometimes one style more a day and another style another day. So what would you say to Lakshmi? Like what she's saying is that I'm all free during meetings. but maybe she's not fully aware of really which dominates the other.
Exactly. Why are you using all three? Because you did not know which style was dominant for you. I will give you my example so that it can become clearer for you. You know, when I was working in the corporate sector, I had a boss. At that time, I didn't know that I was auditory. And all the time I used to, when I went to meetings, I never took a notebook. But my boss was always angry with me. He used to tell me, you never take notes, you never take notes. So what I did, knowing that he would always make such remarks, what I did, I always took a notebook with me, because when I looked around, I always found people taking notes. So I felt a little bit awkward, you see? So I started taking notes.
Wow.
You see? But now that I know that I am auditory, I never take notes. Even if everybody around me is taking notes, I don't do it. I just note things like email addresses or phone numbers, but I don't write things from A to Z, because being auditory, when I write things down, I lose more than 50% of the information.
Absolutely. That's where it that's where it boils down to. It's losing those information at the end. But Priya, just quickly then, where does this come from? Those three attributes? Is that a cultural thing? Are you a product of your environment? Or like you said, your boss said, okay, when 20 years ago, when I was a trainee project manager, I was listening to many people, I got mentored. So is that part of a mentoring process, that the three attribute changes? Where does that come from?
You see, it comes mostly from our conditioning, the way we have been conditioned. You see, at work, at school, it starts from school. At school, we learn. How do teachers explain things on the blackboard?
Yeah.
They tell us to open our books and to read. What are they doing? They are using the visual style.
Yeah.
You see, most teachers use the visual style, but you will see that our results at school depend on how we retain information. Sometimes being a student, we are forced to read things, but when actually our style was auditory. And when we read things, what happens? We are not able to get the good results, because if I was auditory and I used to memorize things by repeating, if I am auditory and I repeat things, I will memorize things better than someone who is visual and who reads things. You see, these information are very important even for your children. If you want your children to get excellent results, you need to encourage them to learn by the style which dominates for them. If your kid is visual, tell them to read. If your kids are auditory, tell them to repeat, reciter. And if your kids are kinesthetic, tell them to do the exercises once more.
Wow.
Okay? If you do these things, you will see the results of your kids will start changing. And you see, even your relationships with your kids will change.
Absolutely. Priya, sorry, there's a quick question there from Lakshmi. I know my style through the tests. However, getting to know the style of the opponents through observation, people tend to behave or adopt different style each day. So again, I think what Lakshmi is going on to say is that there's that versatile nature of people, right?
Yeah, but you will see, if you observe people unconsciously, their dominant style will appear. That's why you need to take time to do this. It is not in one day that you will learn people. Sometimes it can take 3 weeks.
Because observation is a skill on its own, right? That's a skill. You can't just come in and just observe. It does take time.
It takes time. If you are visual, if you are visual and you want to learn what style dominates in your colleague or your partner or your kids, observe them. Because being visual, you will get more information by observing. You will see what they are doing. Okay? If you are auditory, then listen to them better. By listening to them better, you will learn, you will know what words they are using. What are they saying? This will allow you to know which style dominates. And if you are kinesthetic, use your feelings to know, okay? To know how the person is feeling. When I am telling my kid, for example, to write things, how is he feeling? Is he feeling better when I ask him to write? Or does he feel better when I tell him to recite things, learn, talk? You see, all this, it is not done in one day.
Absolutely.
Okay? If you use this information that has been shared today, you will see that with everyone, your relationship will improve. Because the most important problem in our relationship is communication. We do not communicate well because we don't understand the other party well. We don't take time to understand the other person. But if we take time to understand the other person, we will know what is important for the other person, how he understands things, and by adapting our style of communication to his, we will be able to communicate better.
Moi, internet coupé là. Parce qu'il va l'enlever de quatre côtés, tout ça fait là. Tu me coupais? We are just back on, Priya. There was a small glitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could not see you.
Yeah. So there was a small glitch. I think the kinesthetic side of my computer just took everything over.
It does happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I am kinesthetic, and I think I've got full screen in front of me right now, and it's all gone kinesthetically badly. But we are back on, and we've got a few questions as well. One is from Prakash. At what age could we use this exercise and spot the dominant sense of my kids? So, is there any particular age, or is it as it went?
No. When you are born with a dominant style.
Wow. So it is inherent. It's in you anyway.
Yeah, anytime.
Right. So
by observing the kid, you will know.
Okay, thank you. There's an anonymous attendee. Based on what you explain, what you say the style is learned and not inherent. We've just talked about that. So it's inherent, it's genetic, and they can learn it as they grow. All right, so that one. And then we've got John. Nowadays, kids watch a lot of TV and use smartphone. Will this not influence the style to become more visual if they were not originally visual? That's a really good question, John.
Okay.
Priya.
It's a very good question because I wanted to come on that. Because today you will see that most kids spend lots of time in front of TV or in front of computer or playing games. And this, if you keep on doing this, what will happen? Your relationship with your kid won't be good. You see, today, why is it that we are not having excellent relationships in our families? Is because we are spending too much time. Either we are working, okay, we are spending lots of time working, and we don't have time for our kids. We leave them in front of TV, we leave them playing, and what happens? When they grow up, we don't have good relationship because when they were kids, we were not spending enough time with them. That's why I wanted to come on that part by telling you, spend quality time with your family. At least once daily, take some time to communicate with your spouse, your kids. I know we all have very busy schedules, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
I think if you can have dinner together, it would be wonderful. You see, today, kids have everything they want on the materialistic side. Materially, they are very well, good. But emotionally, kids are becoming emotionally unintelligent. Why? Because they don't get the attention they need from parents.
Absolutely.
Okay? And what is important today, you will see people have become very materialistic. We all want everything. We all want big houses, lots of money, high salaries. And today, the world is in this situation because we have put too much emphasis on the material side of things. We have become too materialistic, and this is linked to our ego. Ego. I want to be better than. I want to be the same as. I need to have this to be accepted by. You see, we talk like this. And when we do this, what do? We concentrate so much on accumulating things that we tend to ignore what is more important in life.
Wow, absolutely.
And what is important in life? What do we want in life? Why are we working so hard? Why do we want so much money? In order to be happy in life.
Wow.
Okay, do you think that you need all these things to be happy? You can spend all your life accumulating material things, but you will never be happy if you concentrate only on the material side of things. So, whoever you are today, start being happy right now. You don't need anything to be happy. Spend more time with your family. Spend quality time with your family. Laugh. Look at it. Watch a good movie.
So Priya, just quick one. I've done a quick survey on do you spend time together daily? And we've got about 80% says yes. But we've got 20% saying no.
Okay.
So what's your observation there?
Okay, it's very good that 80% are spending time with their family, because you will see that in the world today, people don't have time to spend time with members of their family. They are so busy. And even if they spend time with members of their family, what are they doing? Everyone is watching their smartphone, my email, messages. I can be spending time with my family, eating together, but my phone is in front of me. I am waiting for that important message. Does it mean that I am spending time with my family, or I am physically with my family, but mentally with my phone? Spending time with my family means when I spend time with my family eating, I will put my phone aside. I will switch off my phone. I won't look at my phone at all. Okay, if I spend 30 minutes daily with my family, this will make a big difference. Spending my time with my family means giving full attention to my family, talking to them, listening to them, talking to my kids, listening to what they want. This is life. Okay.
And Priya, just quickly as well, we've got a question, anonymous attendee, obviously saying quality time. So that's, thank you very much indeed. And then we've got Ning Lee from Singapore. Can your dominant style change over time?
You know, your dominant style can change according to your profession. Sometimes it changes. Let's say somebody was, let's say, visual initially, but that person works in a factory and has to do lots of manual things. Which means that he's using more the kinesthetic style than the visual style, you see? And this can have an impact on his dominant style. Yes, it can happen.
Awesome. Priya, we've got about 5 minutes left. What else do you have to share? Obviously, I've asked the audience to send us a question. John, come back to us. John, well said about the materiality in today's world. As a trainer in law of attraction, please advise how one can improve happiness using this concept. I think you've talked about it a bit, but just few nuggets as well on that side, please.
Okay, yeah, sure. You know what the law of attraction means? Law of attraction says what you focus on grows. Whatever you focus on grows. So if you want to be happier in life, focus on everything that makes you happy. Spend more time laughing. Spend more time watching films that make you laugh. And one important thing today, do you know why the world is in such a state today? As I already told you, it is because human beings have become too materialistic. For us, what material things are the most important things in life. But you will see that with COVID has given us a lesson to show us that material things only are not, we should not put too much emphasis on only materialistic things. We should learn to know who we are. Who am I? Most of us don't know who we are.
Absolutely.
Okay? And today, in order to live, you will see that the world will never go back to normal. Never. We will never get the life that we used to live in 2019. But we are going towards a new world. You know what the new world will be? The new world will be one where there will be more values. Because all these material things that we have accumulated are not making us happy. These have all been illusions. And if you want to live a better life, start becoming more aware of who you are. And I would advise you to learn a little bit about spirituality. Spirituality. Spirituality is what will help us move out of this difficult situation. You know why the world is in such a state? Because our level of consciousness is too low. Collectively, we are living in fears. Let's say, for example, with COVID, most people have fears. Fear is the dominant emotion in the world. And when fear is dominant, it means that collectively, our level of consciousness is low. If we want to move out of this situation, we will need to feel more positive emotions. And more positive emotions are not linked to material things. Positive emotions are linked to going within, going inside of us, looking for joy, looking for peace, looking for happiness within.
Absolutely. So,
okay.
Priya, just quickly, we've got 5 minutes left. I just want to show a quick video and then we'll take some more questions at the end before we conclude. It's been a 1 hour and 25 minutes of wisdom already, made us think a lot about who we are, especially when it comes to visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So let me share a quick video before we conclude the webinar with a final word of wisdom. So please send us your question before we finish off. So I'm just gonna show you quickly the video here before we, so here we go. And again, if you can hear the sound and the images, and if you can see the images, please give me a thumbs up. Here we go. So just making sure I've got the video there and off we go.
Quit, don't quit. Noodles, don't noodles. You are too concerned with what was and what will be. There's a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present.
Real life's a little bit more complicated than a slogan on a bumper sticker. Real life is messy. We all have limitations. We all make mistakes, which means, hey, glass half full, we all have a lot in common. And the more we try to understand one another, the more exceptional each of us will be.
Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere.
When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Your story may not have such a happy beginning, but that doesn't make you who you are. It is the rest of your story. So, who are you, Panda?
Maybe it can, if you are willing to guide it, to nurture it, to believe in it.
But how? How? I need your help, Master.
No, you just need to believe. Promise me, Shifu. Promise me you will believe.
I will try.
Good.
Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah! You see? So what are you going to do?
First, I'm gonna take your stick.
No, not a stick.
There is no secret ingredient. It's just you.
But we have to try. So no matter what type of animal you are, from the biggest elephant to our first fox, I implore you, try. Try to make the world a better place. Look inside yourself and recognize that change starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with all of us.
Okay, so thank you very much indeed. Just making sure I've got the share the slide quickly, a quick thanks. So just quickly again, just making sure we've got that sorted out. Just bear with us as we share the screen. Thank you. There we go.
This video was perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect
so,
video.
Excellent, Priya. I'm just going to show you the so change start with all of us. I'm glad you loved it. I'll share the link with you as well. We've got a final survey, but I'll show that shortly. But thank you, Priya. So from the bottom of our heart and behalf of all participants today, endless thanks for your invaluable time of 1.5 hours and for giving back and for being a role model for all of us and for keep sharing your wisdom. So I'm sure there'll be a webinar next year as well. It's gone so fast. Take care, be safe, of course, everyone. So I'm just going to stop sharing. And also we're just going to share Paul as well. We've got a few questions. So I'll just do the last question before we take some last wisdom from Priya. So here we go. Based on the presentation today, are you keen to elevate your relationship? Definitely after the 3 key component, which is really a tiny section of really elevating your relationship. So thank you very much indeed on that one. And what do you think the result will be, Priya?
I'm sure all of us would like to elevate our relationships.
Fantastic. So I'm going to share that with you. 100% of the webinar today loved it. Can we have a big round of applause, everyone, for Priya? I think already 1 hour wisdom talking about visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So it's something we need to think about and maybe do some more research as well on that. Thank you very much indeed. We've got 2 comments. Obviously, thanking you for the insightful, but what would be your word of wisdom to all of us as we conclude on elevating our relationship? So maybe a few words on right now, COVID-19 going through and all the ups and downs that us humanity are going through, and maybe a few advice for next year. Do we do more reading? Do we do more research? maybe our observation skill need to be changed, like you talked about, and maybe more compassion, kindness, and empathy. What are your advice, Priya?
You know, the world is changing rapidly. And as I told you before, the world will no longer be the same. So in order to live better, we need to understand others better, become more compassionate, become kinder. And kindness starts with us. Okay? Learn to love yourself, learn to appreciate yourself, learn to value yourself. When you love yourself, you respect yourself, you value yourself, you will be able to love others, value others, respect others. Okay, and tomorrow you will see that the world will change. We will be in a new world where the level of consciousness will be different. And in order to move from this difficult situation, we need to shift from fear to more positive emotions like joy, happiness, love, laughter, peace. Okay? So if you want to create a better world, start cultivating these values inside of us and start showing your kids these values. Put emphasis on these values because this is what will happen tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We are in this situation today because we are not living in harmony. We are not feeling, we don't have this feeling of unity. You see, and if we want to live in a better world, we need to start by ourselves. We need to be happier in the present moment. There is only now. Tomorrow does not exist. Yesterday is gone. The only moment is now. So they make the most of now. And you all are professionals. You have already attained a high level on the professional level. Now, if I could give you an advice as a friend, start learning about yourself. Start developing these values, which is already present in yourself. When you become more compassionate, when you become kinder to yourself, you know what will happen? It is not knowledge that you will get. It is wisdom. And in tomorrow's world, it is not knowledge that we need. It is wisdom. And this wisdom is present in all of you. And I wish all of you great success in your life, in your relationships, in your career, and in the new world, which we will all create together by elevating our level of consciousness.
All right, thank you, Priya. And I've just put a comment as well there, Priya. You will see on the little cartoon where we said about yesterday is history. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow will be mystery, but today is a gift, as you just touched on as well. Priya, just final word. You're a trainer, you're a storyteller. Why training is so important? Because like having you now, I understand the value of training, having a mentor, having a coach. Why is it so important to have a bit of training from time to time, a coach and a mentor? Maybe a few advice before we really conclude this really inspiring webinar. And I've got so many comments from colleagues as well. Ridima goes on to say, thank you, Priya, for this insightful session. Amit, thank you for this inspirational lesson. Amazing webinar. Thanks a lot, Priya. And also, so everybody's thanking you and reskilling as well. Somebody's talking, but maybe a few words on why coaching, mentoring, counseling, and training like that will definitely help colleagues. Really kind of a refresher, but also looking life from more of a bird's eye view and then get back onto it because we are so busy accordingly.
Yeah. You see, today, training used to be very important in 2019. But today, I would advise people to do more coaching. What is coaching? Life coaching or business coaching? When you do training, you are in a group of people and the same thing is being delivered to all of you. But when you do coaching, what happens? What you need will be delivered to you. The program will be tailor-made for you. And this will be made according to your specific needs. And today we are living in a very difficult period. What is more, I am telling you this because it is what is happening at international level. At international, in 2019, trainings used to be more important. But as from 2020 and 2021, coaching has become more important. Why? Because today we need to be emotionally prepared. We need to be emotionally emotionally intelligent, emotionally strong, develop emotional strength to be able to cope with the rapidly changing world. And I would advise all of you, if you want to grow, do coaching. I am a trainer. I could have told you, no, do more training. It would have been good for my business, right? But no, I won't tell you this because my aim personally is to live in a better world, to see all people live better. And I would advise you to do more coaching than training and get all your coaching be tailor-made for you so that you could grow faster and adapt more easily to this rapidly changing world. And this is very important in today's world because today you can see that most people are depressed. They don't know, there is a lack of visibility about what will happen tomorrow. And with coaching, you get guidance. This allows you to be prepared better for the world that we will be living in tomorrow. And it will be preparing you as well to be emotionally stronger, happier, in spite of all what is happening around you externally. Coaching will allow you to work more within yourself. And if you develop these values, these things which will be important in tomorrow's world, you will be able to adapt very easily to this rapidly changing and new world. And you will be very happy in this new world.
Absolutely. Priya, thank you very much indeed. And just remember the abbreviation VAK, which is VAC, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Please remember that as well. And I can see comment from Nitisha. Thank you for your wise word, Priya. It was a great pleasure attending your webinar. Ronnie talked about 7 billion people with a unique potential. Thanks a million, both Anil and Priya. Thank you guys for this interesting webinar. Don't forget to email me your names, full names, and your feedback for the certificate attendance just after this event. We'll get that over to you tomorrow till Saturday. So Priya, thank you very much indeed. I've also shared your link on emotional intelligence. That was our 4th webinar, which was on the 27th of April, 2020, when COVID was at its peak. And hopefully we will probably get better times ahead. So I think you've hit it on the nail in terms of coaching and really keep progressing when it comes to coaching and mentoring. And like you said, in 22, a bit more training, but now it's about coaching as well. Already we've been coached by you for 1 hour and 30 minutes. So can we have a big round of applause, everyone, for Priya, everyone, if you can just raise your emoji as we say thank you. I've sent you the link for the channel as well where Priya had her previous webinar. Take care, have a great evening, and we'll see you when we see you. Priya, thank you very much indeed as always. I can't thank you enough to give back your valuable time and to give your wisdom to all of us. And we're definitely catching up for a next webinar sometime next year.
Definitely. Thank you very much for your presence. It was a great pleasure for me to do this webinar with you. I hope that all of you enjoyed it and hope to see all of you very soon. And I wish you a very happy new year. I know there's still time, but I wish you. And I'm sure that the world will only get better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, happy Christmas, happy New Year. And when you're drinking, think about the visual, auditory and kinesthetic, and don't drink too much for the festive season. Take care. Goodbye. Thank you very much indeed, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.